Hello fools, it is a beautiful morning in Split, Croatia. I feel exponentially better than I did last night. I literally just knocked out. I don't even remember falling asleep, but I'm well rested. I am not jet lagged actually. I am not jet lagged at all. And today is the day that I finally get to go to this national park. So I am so excited. I have about half an hour till I have to meet at the meeting point. So I'm about to go get breakfast. So I just found out that as of January of this year, there is no swimming permitted here anymore, which makes me extremely sad. That was like the one thing I was really looking forward to on this trip. But I'm gonna try and make the best of it. All the tourists are starting to degrade the environment, so just for the safety of everything, which I get, but it's really disappointing still. I also did not realize that this was a tour. I know it said tour on the advertisement, but the way that they were describing things and the reviews made it seem more like it was an organized transportation and you had more free time. But with here, I think we have the option. He told us to just meet back at this one place if we didn't do the walking tour. And I kind of think I'm gonna do that because while I do like information, I really don't like having to keep up with people. I kind of like doing my own thing. So the way that our tour guide took us, I'm actually doing the trail backwards. That is why I'm against the flow of traffic right now. I didn't feel like walking back to where everybody was going to start it. I figured I would just make a decision and start going. Let me try and convey how disappointed I am right now. So first of all, this bag I bought last night because it was a waterproof bag and I didn't want to put my stuff down anywhere. So I bought it so I could take it with me while I went into the waterfalls. And I brought waterproof shoes and brought my GoPro with a waterproof case for extra protection. And I am literally in a bathing suit under my clothes right now. So yeah. KRKA National Park is one of the main attractions that Croatia is known for, especially in Split. It sits on the KRKA River, which flows into several different waterfalls. If you were to Google KRKA National Park, you would see the same series of waterfalls pretty much over and over. So the main attraction that you see in every picture of KRKA National Park is the big waterfall called Skredinsky Buk. You used to be able to swim in it from June to September, but literally this year they put a stop to it. Regardless of my ability to swim here I am on my bucket list place. Let's go. I first saw this on somebody's Instagram when I studied abroad. It was some girl who went to my school. I didn't even know her. It was just on my Explore page. I was like, damn, yo, I gotta go. And what was that, 4 years ago? Wow, finally made it. I wonder how many TLC quotes have been captioned from here. It's actually a huge park. We were only there for a short amount of time, so we weren't able to see the other parts, but we got to see the main waterfall part. I felt like I kind of played myself going backwards on the trail because everything after seeing the main waterfall was pretty underwhelming. The usual trail has you end with the waterfall, so you get kind of like a prize at the end, but I started with it. The entrance fee was 200 kuna or about $30 US, so really not that bad. Pro tip though, if you are booking an excursion ahead of time, make sure you check to see if the admission fee is included in your ticket, or else you might have to bring cash to pay for it. You walk through the park on these series of boardwalks. The main trail is a big loop. I got to about the halfway part before I ended up meeting up with my group and then ended up turning back just because I was a little bored. I'm not saying the park isn't pretty. It's beautiful and it is really breathtaking. Personally, I just get bored very easily, and after you see the waterfall, everything else doesn't look as good, obviously. But it's still worth checking out, and I will say if you are short on time, do the trail backwards so then you can see the waterfall first and then everything after. But if you have the whole day, then definitely start where you're supposed to, and then also you don't have to climb uphill. More stairs. It's actually a huge park, but we only got to see a little bit of it just because of the time that we were allotted on the tour. If you didn't plan on going before you went to Croatia, it is no problem at all because there are countless amounts of excursions offered throughout the city if you do decide to go. Again, the park is huge, so there's a lot of other things to see, like Roski Slap, which is a different waterfall at another point in the park. And then you also have this little monastery on an island that goes way, way back. Different excursions offer different things too, so you can also book like a boat tour if you want to see a bunch of different waterfalls by boat, and then you can also go by yourself and just do hiking. Pro tip, if you do book a tour, make sure to check the detailed itinerary to see what you're actually getting from it so you can get the most out of it. Okay, personally, I hate tours. I despise being told a bunch of things as I walk, and I have to keep up with a group and then just listen because I don't process things by hearing, so anything that I'm not being stimulated by just goes in one ear and out the other, so I really don't like somebody just walking around telling me things. When I went to Bali 2 years ago, I didn't do any tours. I just hired a cab driver and he would take me to all the places that I wanted to go. But since Croatia is a lot more spread out, for the sake of convenience, I just booked a bunch of tours so I wouldn't have to worry about getting from one place to another. Because a lot of the places that I wanted to go to were like at least an hour away by like boat or by car, I wanted a solid method of transportation, and I did not want to have to worry about calling cabs at the end of the day or finding directions. The park is definitely worth going to. You can spend all day there if you're super into nature, or if you just have a couple hours and you're on a tour, or if you only want to go for a little bit, you can definitely just do the waterfall trail. Being the huge tourist attraction that it is, no surprise that there are a ton of food stalls actually right next to the waterfall. They have a huge variety, like they have ice cream, crepes, hot dogs, sandwiches. You'd be surprised. I might not have been able to swim, but I did get some bomb pictures. And at the end of the day, I guess that's really all you can ask for in this narcissistic, shallow 21st century. After we left KRKA, we stopped at this little beach town called PLITVICE on the way back to Split. It was late in the day, so we grabbed lunch there, and our tour guide took us to this restaurant that he recommended. I got this one dish that was a typical Dalmatian dish. It was just like beef with gnocchi, and it was bomb. After lunch, a couple of us took the last like 15-20 minutes to go wander around, and I'm so glad we did because it's such a cute little beach town. We got to go in the water for a little bit, and I was satisfied just because I didn't get to go in the water at all at KRKA. I went to the beach with a couple new friends that I met on the tour. They're from London, and we ended up going and getting gelato too. Made some friends. I have a vlog.
Where is it? Yes. It's a video, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What about my ice cream?
What?
My ice cream. No.
Niggas in Paris.
Okay. What video?
It's actually in Croatia.
Croatia, yeah. That's where it is.
I will say one of the best parts about organized tours, besides not worrying about transportation, is the fact that you get to meet other people who are traveling too. PLITVICE was so cute. It was just this cute little beach town and it's so charming. I really wish we got to spend more time there. Overall rating from what I saw at KRKA National Park, I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It is so dark in my Airbnb right now. And the 10-hour day trip I took today was actually really exhausting, as exciting as it was. So I'm really not feeling going out right now. But the Airbnb lady just dropped off Croatian pancakes for me. She's so fucking cute. Oh, they're so good. They're basically like huge crepes. They're so good. This is like the second day in a row where I truly feel like my body has exhausted all of its reserves of energy. I fell asleep for like 2 hours last night, like before I went to bed, and I feel like it was one of the deepest sleeps I've had for like a while. I did want to go out tonight, but I really don't know if I have the energy to walk around. I do have to remember that this vacation is for my own mental health and my own enjoyment, so I shouldn't feel like I have to do something that I don't want to do. Like, I am here for myself. I'm trying to like not beat myself up too for like not having videos on time and like not spending my free time editing, but I really do have to remember like I'm on vacation. This is supposed to be for me. I only get one of these, so yeah. Post KRKA 10-hour day trip. It was amazing. I've been awake for 14 hours and I was out for 10 hours today, so I do need to remember that I have a right to be tired. I really like my Airbnb because I can just like hear all the people go by outside and like hear all the music. Like, I like being in the mix of things, but the introvert part of me also likes just being up on a perch and just seeing all the people go by and listening. Oh my god, I'm dying. I'm actually fucking dying right now. Morning fools. It is still a lovely morning in Split, Croatia, but I am not doing so hot. I was out until like 1 a.m. last night, and you can clearly tell by my voice that I was drinking all night. I went to the same little bakery I did yesterday because I didn't know where else to go. I didn't get coffee though because I kind of want to try to sleep on the bus. That might be a mistake. Anyway, I am a little late heading over to the meeting point because I was supposed to arrive 15 minutes early, but I'm gonna arrive just on time, so whatever. Going to PLITVICE Lakes National Park today. The next park that I went to, which is also super famous in Croatia, was called PLITVICE Lakes National Park. It's Croatia's largest national park and it covers 300 square kilometers. And it's actually been an UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1979. All the water flowing over the limestone and chalk over the years has made all the lakes, caves, and waterfalls. Fun fact, the lakes are formed by a type of limestone called tufa, and those barriers come from the constant interaction between water, air, sediments, and organisms. So now if you Google PLITVICE Lakes National Park, you're gonna see these extremely blue waters. That's what it's known for. There's a total of 16 lakes in the park, and there's also a ton of waterfalls too. Okay, feeling a little bit better after sleeping like an hour on the bus. I really thought I was not gonna make it here, but I am here. And it is kind of chilly, and our tour guide actually lent me her jacket because she said it was gonna be cold as we're walking under the trees, so it came in clutch. This was one place that I knew 100% that I was gonna do a tour with because it's a 2-hour drive from Split. Since I was by myself, I didn't want to have to worry about trying to get a cab from the national park all the way back to the city. The park is a very similar atmosphere to KRKA, but it's a lot more scenic. The lakes are stunning. It looks like something out of Pandora. Even though they look fake, they're all completely natural. The color is from the algae that's in the water. There's so many photo opportunities there, and it's so peaceful, especially in the morning. We got there at like 9, so it was a little bit chilly, it wasn't too hot, and it was very quiet. Just like in KRKA, most of the trail was on these raised boardwalks, so you actually walk right over the turquoise water. There's a lot of options for trails, so not everybody is on the same main trail, and the longest one can take up to 10 to 12 hours. We did the one that only took about 2 to 3 hours. The only downside to this park was the fact that the walkways were so narrow, especially on all the boardwalks, that it was really hard to stop to take pictures. The walkways are pretty much single file, so you have all these crowds ahead and behind you. So if you want to stop to take a picture, you have to either wait until everybody goes by, or you have to hold everybody up in a really awkward moment. If you do a tour, or if you just go in the morning, it does get a little bit chilly under the trees especially, so make sure you bring a light jacket. I went in early September, so the weather was pretty mild. They said that it can get super hot there, and luckily I went at a good time of the year. Don't bother with a bathing suit because it is definitely forbidden to swim here. One of my favorite parts, not just because we were sitting for it, was this little ferry boat we took across this lake in order to get to the rest stop area, and it was so serene. The water was so blue and everything was just so calm and still. I felt like we were moving through a picture. They have this big field where you can either go get food or go to the bathroom or just hang out. The last part we did was hiking to this huge waterfall. I'm pretty sure it's called Veliki Slap just from the research that I did, but don't quote me on that 100%. The tour guide probably said it, but it is so hard to hear her when we're all walking. Like, I don't think I never got it. The whole hike wasn't difficult at all, but the hardest part was probably the last part where you had to go up a bunch of switchbacks in order to get back to where the buses were. PLITVICE Lakes National Park, like 10 out of 10. I wish I got to see more. I wish I got more photo ops. I could really spend like all day there. Maybe like 9. I would say 9 out of 10 because you can't swim, but that's just me being selfish. If you had to pick between the two, PLITVICE Lakes is definitely your better option. KRKA is great and the waterfalls are beautiful, but PLITVICE Lakes looks better and it's a lot bigger. It's a lot more interesting throughout and not just one part being interesting. Hello, I finally got my ice cream here. I had it like yesterday, but I don't know why, I just feel like this is like my first real ice cream here. Don't even ask. I had a nice night out to myself. I hit up my new friends, both groups, but they either answered late or they were doing something else, so I had the night to myself. And while I was sad for a second, I realized that at the end of the day, this trip is still something that I'm doing by myself and I need to enjoy it regardless of other people. I had to remind myself of why I do not travel with other people, because they can be flaky or they want to do something else, which is fine, but I'm gonna still do me. I went to this one place called like Aquatelle, I think. I really just wanted seafood pasta for some reason. And I was actually walking around for literally an hour trying to find something that looked good to me, and like nothing looked good for some reason. Also, I was like kind of waiting to see if people were gonna answer me, so I didn't eat before I met with people in case they wanted to go out to dinner, but I ended up getting dinner myself. And the pasta was like okay. It wasn't like out of this world, but it wasn't terrible. So, I mean, could be better, could be worse. Why is my shirt falling down? The server was like, oh, are you alone? And pro tip, never tell anyone you're alone, no matter who the fuck it is. Always say that you're with people, even if they're not with you in that moment. I just said, no, I'm not alone. I have friends at the Airbnb. Tomorrow I'm actually really excited because I'm gonna let myself sleep in. I need a really relaxing day because this morning was fucking terrible from drinking last night. And also, I've spent like most of this trip tired. Actually, I haven't even really been able to eat that much here, especially as much as I wanted to, because I wanted to try all the food, but I just haven't been hungry because I've been so tired. I just need like a little bit of a reset. I do need to remember that I am on this vacation for my own enjoyment, and I do need to remember that I am on this vacation to have a good time. The type A in me is so like on the go all the time, has FOMO and doesn't want to waste time, but also the minuscule portion of type B in me does need to relax, and also it is human nature to need to not be tired. So yeah, tomorrow is my relaxation day. I'm very excited. I'm very sad because I didn't do my regular gratitude list on my last video for Omega Mart, but I will do it right now. So things that I'm grateful for this week. I reached 100 subscribers. That was pretty cool, finally getting that email. Thank you to every single person who has subscribed, and if you haven't, please smash that subscribe button. I'm grateful that I got to go home this past week and surprise my parents for Thanksgiving. I'm really grateful for LaCroix because in this competition prep diet, it gets pretty gnarly sometimes. So having flavored sparkling water sometimes lessens the blow. Anyway, thank you fools for yet another video, and I will see you next week. Stay tuned for more content. We got a Blue Lagoon and Blue Cave tour coming up for next week's video.